Hey folks, Gwei. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Watchman Decree. We talked about it last week, that great new creed that some churches are asking their congregations to repeat, asking their congregations to embrace and absorb as their own. Now, last time we talked about one of the whereas statements. Well, we're going to do the same today. Today is going to be a little different, though, where I'm going to agree with their whereas statements. What they say, you'll probably understand why. They say that whereas we are the ambassadors of God into the world, and whereas we are world influencers. Now again, I'm not saying that it's okay that they want to decree all these other things. I'm not getting into that. This isn't about me saying, I agree that we should make our nations great again. No, I'm saying that they get these 2 points right. We are ambassadors for God in the world. Every single Christian is an ambassador for God in the world. As a matter of fact, every person of faith is an ambassador for their faith in the world. We're ambassadors for our communities. We're ambassadors for our nations. We are ambassadors for our provinces, our states. We're ambassadors for the high schools we graduated from. What we do in the world, it matters. What we do in the world shines a light on where we come from. It shines a light on what we represent. This isn't rocket science, thank God. This is just the way things are. If I tell you that I'm from the Miramichi and I act like an idiot, chances are you might believe everybody from Miramichi acts like an idiot. If I tell you that my family comes from Ireland and I act the fool, then maybe you'll think everybody whose family comes from Ireland is going to act the fool. If as a Christian, I'm a jerk, what are you going to think about the Christian church? What are you going to think about God? Again, thankfully, this isn't rocket science. This is just how we represent where we come from. It's how we represent what we believe in. It's how we represent what we put our faith in. So when this crowd says Christians are supposed to be ambassadors for God, they're absolutely right. And when they say we are supposed to be world influencers, they're right there too. We should be influencers of the world. We should be able to, through our actions and through our words, to share our faith in such a way that other people say, there might be something to that. Maybe that kind of lifestyle is for me. Maybe that is something I would like to try. Maybe that is a way of thinking that is worthwhile. There's nothing wrong with these two statements. But it does, of course, lead to questions. What does it mean to be an ambassador? What does it mean to be an effective ambassador? Because I'm going to assume that an effective ambassador into this world, an effective ambassador to people for some entity, also is an influencer. They are people who have the power, for lack of a better word, to influence others. Not to demand of others, not to force others, but to influence them. To offer them an understanding, to offer them a perspective, to offer them an idea of a new way or a different way. So what does it mean to be an effective ambassador? Well, an ambassador is somebody who goes out into the world to shine a positive light on the one who sent them, whether that be a nation or a chocolate bar. An ambassador's job is to go into the world and shine a positive light on the one who sent them. An ambassador must be an effective communicator. An effective ambassador must be an effective communicator. An effective communicator is somebody who knows who they are speaking with. They respect them, they honor them, they see them as an equal. An effective ambassador goes out into the world and they learn about the people they're supposed to be reaching. They learn their language, they learn how they speak, they learn how they absorb information, they learn about the culture, they learn about the society. They learn about where they come from. And again, they honor them. They show them the respect that they deserve. They show them the respect that they deserve just by virtue of being. An effective ambassador not only shares information, but an effective ambassador absorbs information. An effective ambassador is someone that the people they are sent to share with, they like them. And I don't mean that the ambassador goes out and makes sure that everybody loves them, but rather those people, even when the message happens to be unpleasant or problematic, those people don't hold it against the ambassador. Those people are still okay being in that ambassador's presence. They know that the ambassador is someone who can be trusted, that they are a person of integrity, that even though they come from a different place, and even though the message, again, might be problematic, even though the relationship between those places might be strained, the ambassador is someone that they feel like they can talk to. They feel is listening. They feel connected to. As I said, ambassadors don't always deliver happy-go-lucky rainbows and unicorns messages. No. Sometimes the message is troubling. Sometimes the message is harsh. Sometimes the message is problematic. An effective ambassador, a person who is speaking with the people they are sent to, who is working and living with the people that they are sent to, they've developed the kind of relationship that the trust remains even when the message isn't light and fluffy. That the people they're speaking with understand the ambassador's role in all this. An effective ambassador, ultimately, again, is an effective communicator. It's someone who can get the point across, and it's someone who is able to receive the feedback. When I think about this decree, when I think about the statement, the true statement that Christians are ambassadors for God, I wonder if we're being effective. I wonder if we are being effective ambassadors for God. I wonder if we are being effective conveyors of God's message. Some of us are probably more effective than others. But if we really want to know, if it matters to us, if we're being effective ambassadors of God into the world, how are we being received? How is the world receiving us? How are the people that we are called to share with, how are they receiving us? Do they want to be around us? When I think about ineffective ambassadors, I think about the Persian ambassador in that movie 300, the movie about the Spartans, the great stand of the Spartans against the Persian army at Thermopylae. I think about that ambassador walking in, chest out, and gold hanging, and demanding this and demanding that, had no idea who the Spartans were, had no idea what the Spartans were all about. Their arrogance, Their arrogance would never have allowed them to connect to a lowly people like the Spartans, including the king and queen. If you remember the movie, it doesn't turn out well for the ambassador. He ends up with a foot on his chest and being thrown into a well. What kind of ambassador are we being for God? Are we welcomed into the lives of those we are sent to speak to, or are we being kicked in the chest and thrown down a well? I told you. It's a big question to ask. What kind of ambassador am I? The answer might be really painful. It might be really painful to hear. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray we're courageous enough to ask, and I pray that we are courageous enough to accept the answer, that we will continuously try to find our way to be increasingly more effective ambassadors for the one who sent us. Amen. Nemultus.